Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today we're going to be looking at a Yveltal build, which is actually quite interesting. The reason why I'm showing you Yveltal right now is because we've just had Denmark and Mexican states, no, not states, nationals, and we saw Donphan win in Mexico with a few Trevenants around, and we also saw in Denmark 5 of the top 8 were Landorus Bats decks. So taking a look at the metagame, I think it's quite heavily invested in fighting Pokemon, and when fighting Pokemon are around, it makes Yveltal a whole lot nicer. I will start off with a quick apology. It's been a short while since I've done my last video, and it's because I've been unwell. You might be able to still hear it in my voice a little bit, so if there's any coughing or sniffing, I can only apologise, but yeah, under the weather, so yeah. You'll notice we play some slightly odder things in here, like the Ninetales that you're going to see. And I'll have to talk about that in terms of matchups when we get onto it. So this is definitely a metagame based call for anyone going to US Nationals. Obviously, Canadian Nationals is going to be a good indicator this weekend of what's going to be played. But this is something to keep an eye on. It's sort of under the radar. Not many people are rating Yveltal at the moment. But I'm enjoying this list, and there's a few good things that we have at our disposal. So first of all, we're starting off with 4 non-EX Yveltal. And it seems really crazy to play this many, but it's very, very strong against Landorus Bats decks because, of course, they can't use Hawlucha. We have resistance, we're poking for decent damage and setting up our board, and we have a big HP. So it's going to take a lot of investment for Landorus Bats decks to actually start killing Yveltals quite easily just for one prize as well. So maxing this guy out is fantastic. Another reason why we actually have 4 in here is because of Night March. Night March is another problem potentially for Yveltal. Again, Ninetales helps us out there. But basically, having Oblivion Wing doing the 30 means we can kill Joltix, and also we have super effective damage on Pumpkaboos, so we can also one-hit there. Also, notably, Darkness Blade with a Muscle Band as well. We can even kill Muse. And if we're just using these regular Yveltals, we rarely ever use the EX in the Night March matchup. We can sometimes get a Darkness Blade off if we're Oblivion Winging onto benched Yveltals. So very, very good, helpful card to have in all stuff like Donphan, Landorus Bats, and even Night March. We're pretty much exclusively using this as our attacker, so very important card, which is why we've maxed it out. Next up, we're playing 3 Yveltal EX. Evil Ball still very, very strong against a lot of things. Y-Cyclone as well helps us retain energy whilst two-shotting stuff. We of course have weakness on Trevenant and Gengar as well. So we can kill those very, very easily with the Lysanders, and again the Ninetales coming in handy there. We have a Bright Look Ninetales in here, which is still in format because there's a promo of the cards, so no worries there. So very good, efficient attacker, still with that resistance, very, very nice. We do have to worry about the amount of Raichu around at the moment. It's another reason why we max out the non-EX, and we're pretty much careful about whenever we use this guy, but he's still a great attacker for us. So as you'll see, we have a bunch of one-offs in here. Let's start discussing them. First of all, we have the Darkrai to provide free retreat for us. He's also something not weak to lightning, so against stuff like Manectric potentially. If anyone's brave enough to play Manectric right now, we might be able to use Darkrai. Again, his Night Spear, doing a 30 snipe onto Joltix. That can help us out in Night March matchups. He also has resistance to Psychic, making it potentially more difficult for Muse and Pumpkaboos to get knockouts, so pretty useful attack there. But mostly it's the ability for the free retreat. We still do have 1 Seismitoad EX in here. It can really slow down random decks that we're not particularly prepared for, if that makes sense. It can really slow down stuff like Rayquaza, where we need a few turns to start getting attachments on Yveltal EXs, slowing them down as best we can as well, so pretty useful to have in here. Also stuff like Raichu Bats, Seismitoad can really slow down their development, which is very important for us. We do have 1 Mr. Mime in here. It's pretty obvious the amount of Landorus Bats that is probably going to be around in the next couple of Nationals. You want to have bench barrier on most of your dudes. Seeing as though we have resistance for most of our things, it means they're doing pretty much pitiful damage if Mr. Mime is out for us, so that's very, very useful. We do have the 1 Shaman and the 1 Jirachi. We both pretty much know why these are in here, or we all know. Stellar Guidance, great for finding whatever supports we want. We have a high VS Seeker count from then on to keep us searching into good stuff. So we get away with a relatively low support account. And again, the Shaman helping us draw more cards. We have DC compatibility if ever we want to deny prizes. Potentially a Sky Return can be a nice prize denial factor we can do. Once we've used a Shaman, Again, stuff like Night March, we can Sky Return, putting it back into our hand, retaining the energy, and it means they can't target down a Shaman for 2 prizes, so pretty useful to bear all that stuff in mind. Now here is the big, clever, ingenious tech that we're playing. Essentially, the reason why Yveltal is not being played at all at the moment is because how we have a very awkward Rayquaza matchup. It's pretty much 80% Rayquaza in its favour rather than Yveltal, and also Night March can also be an issue. So this is where we bring in the Barrier Shrine Ninetales, preventing people from putting stadiums into play. So either we do it on a blank field with no stadiums, or we do it in best case scenario with our Verbank in play, so they can't play their own stadium. This is very disruptive for Night March because it means they can only ever attack with Joltix, unless they want to invest 3 energy on a Mew or a Pumpkaboo, because they of course use Dimension Valley. It's also fantastic against anything with Skyfield because it means that Rayquaza is now hitting 150 and Raichu, although it would still knock out our Yveltals, it wouldn't knock out stuff like Seismitoad. So Ninetales, very, very helpful for limiting their output and sometimes stopping them attacking altogether. So this is absolutely fantastic for rebalancing those matchups. And I've played against a couple of Night March. They're all over PTCGO at the moment, probably because it's a nice budget deck that can rack up a few wins. But this Barrier Shrine really, really helps us out. So we have 2 of those in here. We also have the 2 Vulpix, of course, to help us evolve into it. Its attacks aren't too notable. I guess the Roar can help against stuff like Trevor, but that's about it, really. We also do have 1 Bright Look Ninetales. I know it's Dragon's Exalted, but like I say, there's a promo card, which means it's in format. I can actually check quickly. I think I have one to hand to see what promo it is. It is Black and White 66 promo. So it's definitely still in format, no worries there. And we have this Bright Look. Again, it's fantastic for Trevenant. It's an extra quote-unquote Lysander that we can use to kill even stuff like Gengars for 2 prizes. Because of our weakness that we have, it's very, very easy for us to do this. So Ninetales is very helpful there. Anything really, if they're setting up a Raichu, if it's a tech in someone's deck, we can try and Bright Look into that. It's just an extra catcher that we have, and it's Ultra Ball searchable. Sometimes the Barrier Shrine isn't going to be too clutch, and if we've already played Vulpix, we can sometimes surprise people with an extra Bright Look. It's just a nice utility to have in here. So that is the Pokemon, 17. You can see we play a few one-offs in here, but they're all pretty important in each individual right. It may look kind of ugly having this many one-offs, and I guess if stuff gets prized it can be an issue. But let's just carry on here. We have the trainers. This is a lot more safe and secure, and the counts are all high, maxing out our chances really. We have the comp search, you can find us anything in the deck. We have maxing out the laser, still fantastic. Definitely comboing with Oblivion Wing, so we can actually get 2 shots going back into our own turn with laser, which is nice. Really threatening EXs. Definitely a stuff like Landorus hates this. So yeah, they really can't deal with lasers too nicely. So that's very helpful. Then we have the 2 switch. Darkrai is not enough really for us, especially if our abilities get locked down. And in the opening turns, we can use switch to get into our most helpful starters really, if that makes sense. Then we have the 4 Ultra Ball, searching out anything we need, pretty standard. It can help find Jirachi and Shaman. It can also help us find catchers sometimes. So a trainer searchable Lysander's nice really. Great to max us out in here. Like I say, we have the 4 VS Seeker as well, respamming our supporters whenever we need to. Another great way we can win Night March is, of course, using an N late game and forcing them into have nothing the following turn, and we can just chain 2 or 3 prizes, which is really nice. So having maximum VS Seekers gives us the outs to these guys when we need to. We do have the 1 Colress in here. We fill our bench relatively quickly with whatever stuff we need, and many other decks right now are trying to fill up their bench as well. So Colress is pretty strong. We also have the 2 Lysander, absolutely very important against Trevenant. We already have a great matchup just through typing. This can kill Pumpkaboos in 1 hit, and we really threaten Trevenants as well. We're also an awkward HP for Gengars to knock out in 1 hit, so we're normally going to get a few attacks off with Oblivion Wing. If the Trevenant's actually attacking, they're really not going to last long against an army of Yveltal, even the non-EXs. So we have a naturally good matchup, but Lysander can also buy us turns of trainers. It's also just capturing up stuff like Shaman quite easily. Our second attack on Yveltal, Y-Cyclone plus Muscle Band or Verbank Laser really deals with Shamans quite nicely as well. Plenty of reasons why Lysander's good, really. Like I say, we have the 3N, great combat card against Night March. It can disrupt a bunch of decks that are just faster than us, basically. Yveltal's not actually the quickest thing under the sun anymore, so N is a good comeback card for us, and it's just shuffle draw, which is nice. And then we have the 4 Juniper, can combo nicely putting Darks in our discard pile for Oblivion Wing to get acceleration going, and it's just, yeah, a powerful supporter for us. Then we have 3 Verbank. Even though we are playing Barrier Shrine, it's important to have access to the Verbank as quickly as possible, so that we don't have to worry about locking our stadium into play. Sometimes we'll just be sat with Ninetales in hand and our opponent's stadium's in play, and having the 3rd in here, I originally started with 2, having the 3rd in here is quite nice, just for making sure that we can get the Barrier Shrine off as quickly as possible. Next up we have 3 Muscle Band, just increasing the output of all of our guys. Like I say, it can kill Shamans now with Muscle Band, increasing 20 more damage for Evil Balls. Oblivion Wing becomes 100 on Trevor, which is pretty cool, thanks to weakness. Darkness Blade means we can knock out Muse. Plenty of reasons why Muscle Band is very helpful for us. It also really helps out Seismitoad. Killing stuff like Donphans with Muscle Band, then Verbank Laser can kill Donphans, so plenty of reasons why Muscle Band is great. Then we have the 4 DCE, compatible for Toad, for our Yveltal's attacks, and also our later on attacks. All of them have colourless energy costs, like the Night Spear, the Thing, the Sky Return, so it's not ever too detrimental. It's also an important retreating card. If we're under Garbodor lock, it means we can move Darkrai in 1 turn, because he has a 2 retreat cost. So it's just perfect to have in here, really. And then we have the 8 Dark Energy as well. Obviously, we need it for Oblivion Wing. All of our attacks are based on Dark Energy, and it provides free retreat on everything as well. So obviously, it's a clutch card there. So let's hop into the ladder now. Because my throat is pretty bad at the moment, and I'm worried about coughing all over the place. I'm just going to do 1 game, I think, for you guys. But as you can see, 8 wins. I think I've actually had 8 games. This is a pretty good deck. It may look kind of weird, but for the metagame right now, I think it's actually a perfect choice. So it looks like we've got a game against Soj King 6885, and we're going to flip some coins. Looks like we are going first, which is good for us, and we'll see what our opponent's playing here. We start quite nicely. We have Yveltal and Seismitoad. It's actually, for most matchups, better to start off with Yveltal. I didn't catch what our opponent was playing, so we'll just hold the rest in hand for now. We are going first, of course. We don't have the most fantastic hand, but we do have energy. Looks like we're up against Manectric, which is just the absolute nightmare. You have to be so brave to play Manectric these days. The amount of fighting around. Like, Donphan is great at the moment, and Landorus Bats is probably the most played deck in format right now. It's such a pain going up against Manectric. Really, this deck just has no answers to Manectric. This is the issue. So, anyway, we're just going to, I guess, do this and pass. Man, what sort of metagame would you play Manectric in? Probably loses to Night March. Loses to all fighting decks, which is like half the decks out there. Still probably doesn't have that good of a Trev matchup. Man, makes no sense. But it's going to beat us because we're playing Yveltal. Trying to play anti-meta, we come up against Manectric. This is what I get for being a tactical genius. So our opponent's doing some stuff. I pretty much have already no hope in the matchup unless we get end, pretty much. We see Shaman, and then we do see an end, which is cool. Hopefully we can try and rebuild from here. We see a Lightning and a Spirit Link. Spirit Link on the other one as well. Not much to get too excited about for our side of the board here. I'm quite happy to Juniper this away. I'm trying to think how we can actually win this game. Potentially Darkrai. Darkrai might be our only hope here. But Darkrai doesn't even... Well, I guess with Muscle Band he hits nice numbers on Manectric. They can always heal though. Let's see what we can get up to. We will I think I definitely want to find Darkrai this turn regardless, just because we can retreat into Toad. So let's Ultra Ball away at DC. I don't think it's going to be too important, but if Darkrai is not prized, we might have a chance. Whoops, it's not what I'm trying to click. We do have our Darkrai. This is like the only hope we have of winning this game, really. I think I want to try and disrupt. 3-card hand. We saw 2 Spirit Links come down. And an energy, huh? I think it's best to try and stack up Darkrai. He's pretty much our only win condition in our entire deck, so we may as well try and set him up as quickly as possible. We are going for the 2-shot hype on this Manectric. But hopefully it'll pay off for us. Hopefully our opponent just end themselves into a dead hand. That's the ideal situation here. We're going to see an Ultra Ball. Damn, should have train locked him. He's going to find like a Shaman or Jirachi now. Damn. Oh, he had nothing. Oh, the pain. The actual... I can feel actual pain right now. Not just because I'm ill either. Oh, he's got Rough Seas. That makes life so much more awkward. How do we win this game? I don't even know. Then we see a VS Seeker for an N. Choose not to use it though. Interesting. So now Muscle Banded Darkrai doesn't get 2-shot. Our Snipes are pretty much useless on anything but the Shamans. So we're going to need Barrier Shrine to Barrier Shrine and Verbank. We've only got 1 Verbank left in deck. So this is going to be an uphill battle, definitely. Do find Ultra Ball. We can drop another Vulpix down. And looks like we're getting a 3-shot on this first Mega, which I think is already like a loss. I'm not too worried though, because we should never be playing Manectric. In this, like, based on what's winning at the moment. It's a man with balls of steel to play. In a field of fighting decks, this man plays Manectric. Against our crazy concoction. Grinds out and win. So he's just going to carry on developing here. Does choose to end us as well. Can't think of anything I can do here. We're going to get hit for some big damages. Okay, so we can Bright Look, Laser. I guess we just got to go for the knockout here. We just have to. We need to find Verbank. That is just absolutely essential. We need to be able to knock this... knock the Rough Seas out of play, because that's causing us all sorts of issues. We got to find Yveltal EX. I think it's the only way we can win this game now. Like, Darkrai's going to go down. Hopefully we can get a knockout this turn. We do find Verbank and we find Barrier Shrine. This is like a great way for us to get back into the game here. Wow, I think we actually have a chance now. So we're going to get a knockout and we can put some damage on the Mega this time. And we go up in prizes. We will be dying this turn. I'd like to see him... Well, I don't know what he really wants to do here. So next turn, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. We could go up to 17, I think. So we're always going to be 1 damage shy. So we see a Juniper followed by a Comp. I think I'd be quite happy to see a... No, I don't know what he's going to go for. He's probably just going to develop another Manectric if he has one. We see a Zapdos. That's awkward in its own right. To 120. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Yeah, Muscle Band will get us to 170, which isn't good enough. So we need to go Seismitoad here. And I think I'm just going to have to Toad, Laser. That's a heads, that's nice. I think we've got to go for Jirachi for N. And just hope that he has nothing. Dodging Lysanders is the name of the game here. And hoping that he stays asleep. I'd be amazed if we can actually grind out this win. Oh man, that sleep flip was big for us. One issue is that we've lost Darkrai, so Toad is pretty much stuck until we find a switch. The Manectric does wake up. Find Muscle Band. I think. See, here's the issue. We're still not going to get the knockout on this guy because we can't move our Seismitoad, and he drew nicely off that N. I guess he had 4 cards from after the top deck, but he got a Chorus, which is like ideal for him. So, is it worth us dropping another laser right now? That's our 3rd laser. Trying to keep him asleep is really it, but it's only 25% chance. I'm just trying to think if we have any other plays. I don't think we do, because we'd have to attach to just a retreat. So I think we just have to go all in here and just go for the sleep flip. We do get ahead, so we're hanging on in here. Are we going to luck sack this dude? Oh man, I think we are. He stayed asleep again. That is so painful for him. That's awful. Defying the odds, this deck. He knows it as well. He knows it. This is the saltiest win I could ever dream of. So we can get a knockout here. Somehow. And where does he even retreat into? He goes into the Zapdos. And we topped it. Wow. Top deck Juniper. How useful is Juniper to us? I mean, obviously it's useful. I think at this point we just have to keep going with Yveltal, and we're going to Juniper. We do find switch. This is huge. We can't switch into Yveltal EX. Should we just go for another laser flip? Like, we have VS Seeker for game next turn on any Shaman. We just need to dodge a Lysander. If we can't dodge Lysander, how wrecked are we here? I think we're in horrible shape if we get Lysandered. Which, like, it's likely with that sort of hand. At least we prevent the VS Seeker plays. He's got 1 in his discard. He's probably got 1 left in deck. It's whether he's got it in this, like, 8 cards or the 11 in his deck. Or 1 could be prized, which would be fantastic. We see a Manectric come down. A Lightning as well. There is Lysander, so we're in pretty awful shape here. I think it's a case of capturing up Shaman and just hoping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 energies played. So is it worth me ending here? Or is it worth me Lysandering? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's played 9 energy. They'll probably play like 12, so it's probably still worth ending. Like, get a knockout on this guy and take the 110 damage and see what we can do with our hand from there. We have like plenty of good outs. Like, if we just VS Seeker here, we still have so many nice things left in deck. Like, our deck is nothing right now. Trying to think if it's worth shamaning first, just to have it on the bench and like attach DCE to it. No, I don't think that's our best play. Let's N. It's kind of kamikaze move on our own part, but I think we have too many good outs in our own deck that we're going to draw well. This is turning out to be quite a close game. Wow, we did not draw well. Maybe we can draw off the... do we need to attach? I think we do. And we'll Quaking Punch. Maybe we can draw off the prizes. So we're definitely surviving a turn. It's just if we can actually win this game. Or not. I mean, this is an awful matchup, and we've been ridiculously lucky, and we've still not like secured this win. So we do just get hit for 110. Where's the energy going? Most likely the Manectric. He might be trying. There's no point in protecting a Shaman because then I just catch the other one. Okay, so he does go for that. Interesting. Oh man, we top deck Shaman. That's huge. So we can get Lysander. I got to be careful about decking out now though. Oh no, we have N, so it's fine. So we attach here, and we set up to find VS Seeker. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's not a worry. I thought it was our last card in deck, but it's not. We can comp search the VS Seeker then. And grab Lysander. And we just gotta try and catch her up and kill a Shaman. It's the only way to victory here. If he has another energy. Oh man, we're screwed. Good game. Very good game. Showing off the 2 more Zapdos. So really hating on those. I guess that's how he beats the fighting decks. Just having so many Zapdos. I still wouldn't back myself against Landy Bats because they'll just out-hit you with bat damage. Anyway, I think that does warrant another game. My throat is doing fairly okay. That was like an unwinnable matchup anyway. And one that I don't expect to run into again. So we found a game against B Penno. And we are going to flip some coins, and we do get to go first here. We do start once again with Yveltal. Both our Barrier Shrine Ninetales in hand, so it looks like we're ending straight away. And it's a Pikachu. Again, it's awkward for us. Just trying to think what's best to get here. Probably just Toad. Let's have a look what's in deck first. Will Ultra Ball. Looks like both our Vulpixes. We have Mime. We do have... I think we have all of our Pokemon. We've got one non-EX Yveltal prized. We can go Seismitoad. We'll attach to it as well. Most decks running Raichu aren't going to have hammers in them. Not enough space. And we find Vulpix and Yveltal. A priority is going to put Barrier Shrine in, of course, to stop Raichu hitting huge on stuff like Seismitoad. We can't really do too much in terms of right now. So we'll pass it over here. Let's see what variant it is. Okay, so it might be some sort of like Flareon style. Seeing Dittos makes me think it's going to play at least one Flareon in there. Probably like Leafeons, Flareons, Raichu. Pretty cool stuff. Obviously, he's playing Leafeon because of the Virizion that he plays. He's playing some Grass Energy. So we see a setup followed by an instant Juniper. Getting rid of a lot of supporters. Raichu and those eggs as well. So Toad should be able to slow this deck down a tad. We are going to see an Ultra Ball getting rid of Mime. I don't think that's too important to us. It opens doors for Night Spirit, I guess, if he has Execute on bench, but that's about it. He's going to find a Raichu for next turn, it looks like. Interesting. Yeah, and just passes over. So we're going to Muscle Band here. Attach a Dark. I think it's still the best play. And could end, but I think Juniper's... Oh man, throwing away VS Seeker and Juniper's like awful. We need to find either Darkrai, Ultra Ball, or one of our switches. I think going for an N is safe enough. Getting rid of 2 Juniper and VS Seeker is like awful. We do find Darkrai, so no worries there. We find Darkrai and Laser, so we're going to get a knockout this turn. Not much in terms of next turn. We're sort of left top decking, but getting a prize early, trainer locking as well, can be awkward for decks like this that are pretty combo based, and they usually use a bunch of trainers to get that combo off. See another Pikachu. There's a Skyfield as well, so it's something to worry ourselves with. We see DC followed by Juniper, getting rid of a couple of Grass Energy. That's good for us. So he's playing Zubat as well. And we're going to get hit for 100 with Circle Circuit here. So I'm just debating whether it's worth us Lysandering up a Pikachu again. I don't think the one Zubat isn't threatening right now. We have to bear in mind that the Ditto could evolve instantly into a Golbat, but even at the moment 40 isn't like an awkward number for us. So I think we're okay just attaching to Yveltal. Lysandering here. And just going for the Laser KO again. Because then he's forced into Raichu again. Either he Lysanders and we can deal with it with Toad again, or he just kills Toad and we can then kill it with Yveltal with Energy Muscle Band. So I think we're pretty safe here. And again, just the hidden value of giving your opponent no items is really big. Got rid of 2 Pikachus already, and a Raichu's in the discard as well. You probably plays a 4-4 count, but our opponent can only go for the Circle Circuit there. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, we've got knockout. And it looks like he's got no response next turn, but that Ditto can be a demon in disguise, because it can insta-evolve into Raichu, and then he can DCE, blow us out the water, but we just have to pretty much hope here. We have no other plays. He does have trainers again, so that's a worry, but let's see what he can do. Goes into the free retreating Zubat. Benches another Zubat. He does attach that Ditto. Looks like he's going for the play here. There is an Ultra Ball, it looks like. Oh, God. This is going to be really bad really fast for us. I saw the play, but I couldn't really do much about it board-wise. So there is that Raichu out of nowhere. That Ditto, the hidden killer. The VS Seeker as well into Colress. Man, we're in a bit of a pickle now. Raichu Bats is another like fairly bad matchup for us, but again, I don't think it's too big at the moment. It's got a good Night March matchup and it's got a good Quasar matchup. Doesn't have a good Landy Bats matchup at all. It has like an average, probably below average Donphan matchup. If the Donphan player plays Magnetic Storm, which was actually something that was played by the winner of Mexico's Nationals, so it's probably going to become more popular. I think Raichu Bats is a bad matchup against the Donphan player. But nevertheless, I guess it has some good matchups around the board. It's a deck that I have liked to play before. And something Yveltal can't deal with, I guess. So we're going to get hit with the Circle Circuit here. And we really have like no response. This is why I'm considering putting a Mewtwo in. So that we have some sort of impact play. And 2 prizes from losing. That's never a good sign. So I don't think we can even play our Yveltal EX. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. Like, he needs a backdrop plus Lysander anyway to win. Our laser was Tails, which is kind of awkward. All we can go for is the Oblivion Wing, really. Getting hated on by all the lightning decks in a format filled with fighting. So he's going to kill Vulpix. Oh, okay. Bat damage Vulpix plus just knockout active. So, again, another bad matchup. I'm going to keep playing. My throat's doing fine, I think. We've got to find an actual matchup that's like popular. Manectric, I guess Raichu Bats is probably like, it's a definite tier 2 deck. It's in the fray. Manectric right now is pretty much dropped off the map because of the amount of fighting. But let's see what we can come up against. Maybe I saw a fighting card in this guy's deck, Ninja Assassin 7. So hopefully we can actually have a favourable matchup, which this is meant to have around like the top 4 right now. Just not those fringe decks. Something to worry about, I guess. So we start Vulpix, which is far from ideal, but we do see looks like Landy Bats, which is like good for us. We see an early Karina. The Ninetales is really pretty useless in this matchup. If we can get one up, like, it's cool, but it's not too crucial. For the most part, they're playing Fighting Stadium, and we're playing non-EXs anyway. So the Barrier Shrine's not too big. So we see a few things: an early Karina, then an Ultra Ball, followed by a Sacred Ash, into a Shaman for some more cards and a pass. So we have to be very careful about using our Jirachi. I think I want to search. So if we do this and this, we can get Mime and Yveltal. Or we could get a switch and a Yveltal. Plus a supporter. How crucial is a laser this turn? I think it's fairly important. So I think I want a laser plus Ultra Ball and then use Jirachi and keep the comp. That's what we're going to do. How useful is DC? I don't think DC is that useful to us. We're mainly attacking with our army of non-EX Yveltal. So, because we're doing an N play now with our Jirachi, I may as well keep the Dark Energy. And do this. Attach Jirachi into an N. Because it's pretty unwise to get rid of comp. It's a good out for us later on. The switch isn't too important. I think the Verbank is nice though. Like I say, Vulpix isn't huge. So it looks like we're passing here. Darkrai is obviously a big no-no for us in this matchup. The weakness is all over the shop. So we see an early Super Scoop Up. That is a Tails. Muscle Band onto the Landorus. Then a benched Hawlucha, followed by a Sycamore. Getting rid of a Golbat, an AZ, and something else. We do see a Silent Lab come into play. Interesting stuff. So we are going to Ultra Ball away the Dark Energy. No, we're not. We're going to retreat away the Dark Energy. That's a better play. Muscle Band is fine. Laser's not needed. And let's find Yveltal. Could just find Mime straight up, but I do want to target for our Oblivion Wing. So let's find Yveltal EX. And then we're going to VS Seeker N again. We do find Barrier Shrine. Now I'm debating actually keeping Silent Lab in play. I don't think it's too bad doing that. Actually, no. No, that's silly. We want laser damage. Let's not give him too much of this game. So we can go for an Oblivion Wing. We haven't yet developed Mr. Mime, which is kind of annoying because Vulpix is probably going to be a target next turn for a Golbat plus Landorus drop. So I think it's best to start attaching to our Yveltal EX. Most Landy Bats players don't have more than one. Oh, it looks like he's struggling to find energy right now. So we see another Super Scoop Up fail. That's also great for us. And there's a strong energy, so he's obviously found something. So let's continue to develop our board. I think I want to spread it out a bit. I think it's fine to Juniper as well. That gives us an extra energy attachment for the turn. And it puts this other stuff in here for VS Seekers. So I'm going to spread out energy around and just go for the Juniper. We need Verbank to get a knockout here. It looks like we miss all of that stuff. I could play a switch. No, I couldn't. So we'll remain one off, which is really awkward for us. You can't Ultra Ball for anything like Shaman to draw more cards because of that Silent Lab. So it looks like we're going to go off the board a little bit here. Potentially that attachment was kind of silly. I could have attached here first and then gone for the Oblivion Wing attachment here. That would have given me the option to actually get a knockout this turn, I think. What? Why didn't it work? That's really weird. Huh. Did he just pass? I think he just passed it over to us. Wow. Okay. So we're in great shape. So let's laser. He is drawn awfully. I don't know how. Must be a fairly inconsistent list. So here we're going to Ultra Ball. We're going to get rid of these guys to find Mime. It's something we really need to develop now. Because Landorus will be coming imminently. And it means our Colress is stronger. So there is the Verbank. We do miss Ninetales. So potentially it was a better play to keep the Verbank, but obviously I wanted to take the knockout this turn. So let's continue stacking up Yveltal. He has nothing for it, so we can just keep running through prizes with Yveltal at this point. And this is where the good matchup starts coming into play. This is what I like to see. There's a Fighting Stadium. It's going to do nothing, really. Another Landorus. 2 more Landorus come down. And a Muscle Band. And just 15 Snipe for 0, thanks to the... So he just scoops. And that's actually what we want to see. We want to see Yveltal up against the matchups we want to play against. And he was sort of energy droughted and then supporter droughted. So it probably wasn't the most accurate representation. But really, there's not much Landorus Bats players can do against this sort of deck, and that's what we're aiming for here. So we had a couple of fun games. We lost to Manectric and Raichu. No surprises there, really. We did fight valiantly in both those matchups. But we really don't have much for those. That might be something to look into. Potentially a second Seismitoad going down to 2 Yveltal EX. I rarely ever use this guy. So probably that would help out against definitely the Raichu. Not so much the Manectric, but aiming to be good against Trev Gengar as well if they're playing that. Really good against anything with Gengar in it. Great against Landy Bats. Good Donphan matchup. And this Ninetales is trying to balance out our Rayquaza matchup and also balance out the Night March. So we did see a couple of bad matchups, unfortunately. I was hoping to find more standard ones, but at the end we did see Landy, Lucario Bats, so that's good stuff there. And we were able to destroy it, which is nice. So try this deck out, guys. It's a lot of fun. Aiming to beat those top 4, like I say. And if you're going to a Nationals anytime soon, check out the metagame for Canada Nationals. But based on Mexico and Denmark, this would probably be the deck I would take to any tournament based on the top 4 and the top 8s that we saw from those 2 events. So I've been Joe from Omnipoke, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.